everyone, and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that was released this year in 2016. The fragrance is from the house of Giorgio Armani. We're talking about Armani Code Profumo. Now, Profumo, again, released this year. I've been getting a lot of requests to review this fragrance, and I actually had done the review. There was a little bit of a mix-up whether or not I was going to get the bottle or not. I ended up not getting the bottle, hence why you see that picture. Anyways, I digress. The bottle design is actually very similar to all of the other Armani fragrances that are out there with the Armani code. It's just in a different colorway. You know, I've never really been a fan of them. Sure, they're okay, but you know, they kind of fit kind of weird in the fragrance collection. Either way, you know, that's pretty much all there is. Anyways, there's two main sizes. There's a 2 ounce and a 3.7. Now it comes in 4 other, there's a bunch of sizes along with the whole Armani thing that you've probably seen before. Anyways, the 2 ounce is going to run you $90 and the 3.7 ounce is going to run you roughly $110. So this fragrance is on the more expensive side, especially for a designer fragrance. It is a new release, so you want to keep that in mind with things. Anyways, the notes of this fragrance are on the screen, right? Now, the major takeaway when I get this, immediately when I sprayed, I thought, okay, this definitely has the DNA of a lot of the other Armani fragrances. And by DNA, specifically, I'm talking about Tonka. You can't escape Tonka when you think about Armani Code. If you like Tonka, if you're a fan of Tonka, then if you have not tried any of the Armani Code series, just pick one out at random, except I haven't tried. Anyways, pick one out at random and you're going to get that signature Tonka kind of note and feel behind the fragrance, which is partially of the reason why that I am convinced they've been so successful with their Armani Code line and why they keep releasing more and more and more flankers of the same fragrance. But either way, I smell this and I get a leather scent, I get a very sweet scent. Now, initial spray, it was too sweet for me. Simply put, it was just, it was sickeningly sweet, cloyingly sweet, but as the fragrance remains on your skin, it dies down a little bit more and it becomes much more manageable, much more wearable. Overall, a very sweet scent that reminds me of root beer. Yes, root beer. That's what popped into my head initially. I was like, oh, this really does actually smell like root beer. And I gotta say, I was like, wow, yeah, this does remind me of it, and especially that initial blast where it's really sweet. I'm not sure if you guys have had like A&W's root beer, where it's just like sometimes it gets really sweet, or Bart's. But either way, you know, after it kind of dies down, it becomes much more wearable and much more soluble. But at that point, it kind of starts to remind me of bubblegum, like this bubblegum type scent. But it's very inviting, very alluring, and I can definitely see why people get compliments from this scent. It's a very pleasing, a very outgoing scent. It's something that is definitely going to attract attention because it does have power. The performance of this is good, especially initially it's too strong. But as the fragrance dies down, it becomes much more wearable. It becomes much more manageable. It doesn't ever get to my point of really wearable. I think it shouts a little bit too much for me, but that's just me. That combination with that sweetness for me. Spray-wise, I go about 3 sprays. Once it gets to about the 5-hour mark, speaking of how long it lasts for me 9 to 12 hours. So it has good performance, but once it gets about to the 5-hour mark is really my ideal, where I feel this fragrance is at a good place for me. I'm like, okay, now it's always got good sillage. It's got some good projection here, and at that point I'm like, okay, now it's beginning to meld. And really the strength of this fragrance picks up as you're wearing it, and as it kind of melds in with your skin a little bit more and mixes with your chemistry, it then becomes a very, very pleasing scent. So that's the one thing I will definitely tell people. This scent is one that kind of reminds me of Le Male, in that where Le Male just mixes with your body and begins to put its own thing out. Armani Code Profumo does the same thing. The difference with Armani Code Profumo and why I'm not over the moon about this sucker is that I'm not too particular, especially with that opening on the smell. I'm getting older at this point. I'm not willing to sit through a couple hours of bad smelling scent. Yeah. or too strong smelling scent. Now, this is a great fragrance for the winter, and with that, what do I think of it? What am I going to give it as a rating? At the end of the day, I think I'm going to give this fragrance a rating of 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's a solid fragrance. The scent, it's a very nice scent. Yes, I don't like the beginning, but what it becomes, I'm willing to give it a little bit more of a chance. And at the end of the day, I do think that is a good smelling scent. The performance is good, as I mentioned, roughly around 12 hours, and at about the 5-hour mark, it becomes a little bit more wearable, but the sillage is always there as well too, so it does well in that regard. Uniqueness, unfortunately, I'm not going to give it full marks for uniqueness, and it loses a couple points for that just because it's like the Armani Code series. I mean, yeah, it's like the Armani Code series, and it's also like a lot of these sweet clubbing fragrances that are out there, and so Armani Code Profumo fits that mold to a T. Value, it's going to lose points as well too. This is an expensive fragrance for a designer, a fragrance. You know, you can't really find it discounted right now. I think if you look a little bit, or I take that back. I did find a discount, but I won't get into that. I won't get into that. Compliment-wise, that's where this fragrance's strength really lies in. Compliments, women seem to love this scent. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I've been wrong on many occasions regarding compliments. So yes, this is a compliment getter. So at the end of the day, 4 out of 5 stars, excellent scent. Check it out. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be purchasing it. I have too many fragrances that fit this mold. There is no reason for me to go ahead and purchase this scent when I have a couple other fragrances that really, you know, already fit this mold. I can use Spice Bomb in its place. You know, there's just a couple other ones. All right? But that's just my opinion. All right? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts are on this fragrance. If you've had any differences, any success, let me know. Thank you guys. Take care of yourselves, and you guys have a great day.